Hare Krishna. Do some japa. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. I think I got to stop. I'm not feeling good today. I think there's like my speculation or theory is the chemtrails. They're really like the last few days. They're all over. It's crisscrossing the sky, and they've got nothing but fake clouds. Could be that. Who knows? So I don't know. I'm going to try reading a little bit here, and then I might have to call. Just lay down and just rest. Hare Krishna. Okay, let's see. Hare Krishna. Okay, this is the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Canto 10 and Chapter 60. Krishna teases Rukmini. Text number 7. From her maidservant's hand, Goddess Rukmini took a yak hair fan with a jeweled handle, and then she began to worship her master by fanning him. Her hand was adorned with rings, bangles, and a chamara. Queen Rukmini looked resplendent, standing near Lord Krishna. Her jeweled ankle bells tinkled with her necklace glittered, reddened by the kumkum from her breasts, which were covered by the end of her sari. On her hips she wore a priceless belt. As he contemplated her, the goddess of fortune herself, who desires only him, Lord Krishna smiled. The Lord assumes various forms to enact his pastimes, and he was pleased that the form of the goddess of fortune had assumed was just suitable for her to serve as his consort. Her charming face was adorned with curling hair, earrings, a locket on her neck, and the nectar of her bright, happy smile. The Lord then spoke to her as follows. The Supreme Lord said, "My dear princess, you are sought after by many kings, as powerful as the ruler of planets. They were all so abundantly, they were all abundantly endowed with political influence, wealth, beauty, generosity, and physical strength. Since your brother and father offered you to them, why did you reject the king of Chedi and all those other suitors who stood before you, maddened by Cupid? Why instead did you choose us, who are not at all your equal? Terrified by these kings, O lovely browed one, we took shelter in the ocean. We have become enemies of powerful men, and we practically abandon our royal throne. O fine brown lady, women are usually destined to suffer when they stay with men whose behavior is uncertain and whose who pursue a path not approved by society. O fine browed lady, women are usually destined to suffer when they stay with men whose behavior is uncertain and who pursue a path not approved by society. See, so that's that uncommon path. That's the path we're on, actually. And so, women, this is a code. This is coded for, like a disciple has a guru. The guru is like, in the sense, like the Christians, the nuns, they marry Christ. Well, the spiritual master is like that. They actually represent the Supreme Lord. And at first, there's usually some suffering involved because, this is a path not approved by society. See? Not even religious society. They think this is not right. See, so, but this is 10th canto stuff. This is, Rukmini gave up that kind of attraction to society, wealth, and motivated religiosity to take shelter of Krishna. Okay? And Krishna is the confidential truth about Krishna. So isn't that interesting how Krishna himself says, oh, you took shelter of a path not approved by society. You notice how people kind of relate to what we're doing like that? Oh, this is not approved by Prabhupada. This is not approved by Vaishnavism. Because in Vaishnavism, you've got to, follow etiquettes and follow rules and regulations strictly. And we kind of are just kind of loose about that kind of stuff. And don't pay it much mind. And they pay it all mind. To them, it's all in all. The rules and regulations are their life and soul. See? So this is a path that's not easy to understand unless you get the mercy of the Lord and the Lord's devotees. Okay? This is this 10th canto. These are passages of 10th canto. You learn about the confidential nature of Krishna. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so why he said, why, Rukmini, why did you take shelter of a person, that's following a path not approved by society? Yeah, yeah. See, Krishna is actually God, whether one knows it or not. And she was fortunate to have the mercy that she was attracted to Krishna's transcendental qualities. Matter of fact, she wrote a letter to Krishna before he kidnapped her. See, that's also not approved by society, just to grab devotees and bring them to God. It's not approved. Not allowed to do that. Yeah. See, he wrote a letter. She says, she had never met Krishna, but she heard about him. She heard about his transcendental qualities and was very attractive. Very attractive. Just like many of you. A lot of you, I haven't met many of the people here. I haven't met Shyama or anybody. But I just keep feeding everybody the transcendental qualities of the Lord, hearing, chanting, remembering, and you're becoming attracted. See, just like Rukmini. See? And so then you become attracted to Guru, Krishna, and the Vaishnavas. This hearing sets me in the transcendental way for another day. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So these are confidential messages. So Krishna and Krishna's devotee, they're the shelter of the hopeless and the helpless. So if you don't come in ultimately, like people, you don't, you shouldn't blindly trust anything. You should come the correct way in the line is by hearing. See, you come by hearing, and in this hearing, you get purified to the point where you become attracted to the words that that the spiritual master is speaking. See, they're words of truth, very powerful. Yeah, and that's the procedure. You see, and then when you take shelter there, you realize, this is my shelter. Hearing, coming into the society of devotees and hearing talks about Krishna. This is my shelter. This is Govardhan Hill, over the pastimes of Govardhan Hill, keeping me safe. See, and otherwise, if you don't take shelter, this is the path. This is the formula. If you don't take shelter of a realized devotee, a bona fide guru, you you know maybe you get liberated. But to get to Vrindavan, you got to become part of the family. You got to follow the process. Otherwise you can't bring false ego in. You can't bring in pride. You can't bring in your desire to be one with God, and to be God, and all these things have to be purified out. See, that's the suffering. See, a lot of people, as they start to get free and they start to feel a little liberated, sometimes they leave because that's as far as they want to go. They don't want any more the suffering of suffering the false ego, of feeling that. Better to go and hide in the false ego than suffer out of the false ego. You molt it like the skin. See, you could see people have done that. Look how River, she's going through all of this, and she's molting that false ego. And Krishna sees that she's sincere and she believes in her guru, no matter how many faults people look at her or anybody else going through these things. Just by the fact they stay. And that's why Krishna is saying, why are you coming? I could say, why are you, coming to this path that is just, for you, for right now, is suffering. Sometimes, not all the time, not for everybody. But people with their false identification and their conditioning from their past, it causes that suffering to come up and you're confronted. Why are you doing that? Why not just go and hide under the rules and regulations and the superficialities of life, a superficial religion? Why not just go and be a part of that, even though you're manipulated and jerked around, and used by a religious society? They use you and then throw you away like a dish rag. Yeah, there's a great poem by Kahil Chabram. It's about love, true love. I always cry when I read that poem. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to read it. See if I can find it easily. Yeah. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, read it. All right, let's since we got the capacity, let's give it some music and some echo, and some reverberation. Let's see how it goes. Let's try it. Are you ready? Okay, let me fix this. All right, let me get a nice song here. I got all this new equipment, so let's try it out here. Then said Alamitra, "Speak to us of love." And he raised his head and looked upon the people, and there fell a stillness upon them. And with a great voice he said, "When love beckons you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep. And when his wings enfold you, yield to him. Though his voice may shatter your dreams, as the north wind lays waste to the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you." Even as he is for your growth, so is he for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the ground. Like sheaves of corn he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husks, and he grinds you to He kneads you until you are pliant, and then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. All these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. But if in your fear you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, then it is better for you that you cover your nakedness and pass out of love's threshold into the seasonless world, where you shall laugh, but not all of your laughter, and weep, but not all of your tears. Love gives not but itself, and takes not but from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed. For love is sufficient unto love. When you love, you should not say, "God is in my heart," but rather, "I am in the heart of God." And think not you can direct the course of love, for love, if it finds you worthy, shall direct your course. Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love and must needs have desires, let these be your desires: to melt and be like a running brook that sings its melody into the night, to know the pain of too much tenderness, to be wounded by your own understanding of love, and to bleed willingly and joyfully, to wake at dawn with a winged heart, and give thanks for another day of loving. to rest at the noon hour and meditate on love's ecstasy, to return home at evening tide with gratitude, and then to sleep with a prayer for the beloved in your heart and a song of praise on your lips. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Very time, very listening. This one's called Crucified by Hilton. I cried to them, I will be crucified. I would be crucified. And they said, why should your blood be upon the heads why should your blood be upon our heads? And I answered, how else shall you be exalted except by crucifying madmen? And they heeded, and I was crucified. And the crucifixion appeased me. And when I was hung, and I was hanged between earth and heaven, they lifted up their heads to see me, but they were exalted, for their heads had never been lifted. But as they stood looking up at the one called out, for what art thou seeking to atone? Oh, but as they were looking up at me, one called out, for what art thou seeking to atone? Another cried, in what cause dost thou sacrifice thyself? And the third said, thinkest thou with this price to buy world glory? And the fourth, behold how he smiles. Can such pain be forgiven? And I answered them all and said, remember only that I smile. I do not atone, nor sacrifice, nor wish for glory. And I have nothing to forgive. I thirsted, and I besought you to give me my blood to drink. For what is there can quench a madman's thirst but his own blood? I was dumb, and I was asked, wounds of you were mouths. I was imprisoned in your days and nights, and I sought a door into a larger days and nights. And now I go, as others already crucified have gone. And I think none, we are weary of crucifixion, for we must be crucified by larger and larger men. between earths and greater heavens. This is God. In ancient days, when the first quiver of speech came to my lips, I ascended the holy mountain and spoke unto God, saying, Master, I am thy slave. Thy hidden will is my law, and I shall obey thee forevermore. But God made no answer, and like a mighty tempest passed by. And after 1,000 years I ascended the holy mountain and again spoke. It's too loud. What is the mic too loud? Or is it music too loud? Let me know, Archie. Is it the mic? Ah, the music. Okay, see if that's better. And after 1,000 years, and God made no answer, but 1,000 swift wings passed by. And after 1,000 years, I climbed the holy mountain and spoke unto God again, saying, Father, I am thy son, in pity and love. Thou hast given me birth. Through love and worship I shall inherit the kingdom. Say better? I better stop anyway. All right, I'll stop now. Taking it easy. Thank you very much, everybody, and blessings.